Paul Pogba's return to football was supposed to be a fresh start after everything he has been through in recent years. The French midfielder arrived at AS Monaco with the hope of rebuilding his career, proving his fitness, and showing that there was still plenty of football left in him. But now, just days before the new League One season begins, Pogba has suffered another injury, and this time the situation could be even more worrying for both the player and Monaco. According to reports from Nesmati, Pogba felt pain in his left thigh during Monaco's training session on Tuesday morning at St. George's Park, the famous England training centre where the French club are currently completing their pre-season camp. The incident reportedly happened during a training game. Pogba was involved in an exercise with the ball when suddenly he appeared to feel something in his thigh. The midfielder reportedly screamed before collapsing to the ground. The medical staff immediately came over to assess him. Pogba was then helped back towards the bench, visibly struggling to walk. His thigh was strapped and he eventually left the training pitch accompanied by two members of Monaco's staff. For a player who has spent so much time fighting to return to his best level, this is obviously a worrying development, and the timing could hardly be worse. The new League One season is just around the corner. Pogba needs playing time. He needs rhythm. He needs confidence. Most importantly, he needs his body to allow him to train consistently. But once again, another physical problem has interrupted his preparation, and this is becoming a serious concern. Pogba joined Monaco as a free agent last summer with huge expectations surrounding his arrival. The former Manchester United and Juventus midfielder was once one of the most exciting midfielders in world football. He was a key player for France during their 2018 World Cup triumph, and at his best, Pogba could control the tempo of a match, break defensive lines with his passing, win physical battles, and produce spectacular moments. But his career has been heavily affected by injuries and setbacks. Since arriving at Monaco, the reality has been extremely difficult. Pogba has made only 6 appearances for the club. 6 appearances. And across those matches, he has played just 115 minutes. Even more tellingly, he has started only one game. Since arriving at Monaco, Mets on reality has match Monaco lost 2-1. For a player, Pogba has made only 6 appearances for those numbers tell a painful story. And across those matches, he has been a lack of talent. The problem has been his ability to stay even more tellingly. Earlier in his Monaco adventure, only one game. Since arriving at Monaco, the reality football at the highest level is incredible. Pogba has made only 6 appearances. Cannot simply look at what a player was capable of. And across several matches, he has played just one that player can deliver today. Even more telling, unfortunately, he has started only availability has since arriving at Monaco. Biggest question, the reality has been extremely. This is not about questioning. Pogba has made only 6 appearances. Can forget what Pogba has achieved. 6 appearances. He has won major matches. He has played for some of the biggest clubs in Europe. He has represented even more France at the highest level. He has started only and he has experienced the biggest stage in international football. But football can be cruel. Sometimes the biggest battle is not against an opponent, it is against your own body. And Pogba appears to be facing exactly that battle right now. The midfielder desperately needs a consistent period without injuries. He needs several weeks of training. He needs matches. He needs to regain his confidence. He needs to feel physically strong again. Because without those things, even the most talented footballer in the world can struggle. And Monaco will now be watching this situation very closely. The club cannot afford to make an emotional decision.
The club cannot afford to make an emotional decision. They need to know whether Pogba can physically contribute to the team. If the injury is minor and he returns quickly, this could simply become another small interruption in his preparation. But if the problem is more serious, the situation could become much more complicated. The timing is especially concerning because the new League One campaign is almost here. Every missed training session matters. Every missed friendly matters. Every week without match fitness makes it harder to compete for a place in the starting 11. And Pogba is already behind many of his teammates when it comes to rhythm. That means he will have to work extremely hard once he is cleared to return. But there is another important question. What does Pogba himself want? At 33 years old, this stage of his career is completely different from the beginning. He no longer has unlimited time to wait for another opportunity. He needs to make the most of the years he has left, and Monaco could potentially be an important chapter in that story. But only if he can stay on the pitch. That is the key. Pogba doesn't need to prove that he has talent. He has already done that. He doesn't need to prove that he understands football. His career speaks for itself. What he needs to prove now is that his body can handle the demands of professional football consistently. That is the real challenge. And this latest thigh injury makes that challenge even bigger. For Monaco supporters, the situation is frustrating. They want to see the best version of Pogba, They want to see the player capable of controlling midfield, creating chances and influencing matches, but so far they have seen far too little of him. 6 appearances, 115 minutes, 1 start. Those numbers are nowhere near what anyone expected when Pogba arrived at the club, and now with another injury appearing during preseason, questions about his future are naturally coming back. Will Monaco continue to trust him? Will the club give him more time? Could this injury change their plans, or will Monaco eventually decide that the physical risks are simply too great? For now, there are no definitive answers. The first priority is obviously Pogba's health. The club will need to determine the severity of the injury before making any major decision, and Pogba will now have to focus on recovering properly. There is no point rushing back and risking an even bigger problem. But the reality is simple. Paul Pogba's Monaco adventure has not gone according to plan. What was supposed to be a comeback story has turned into another battle against injuries, and the latest chapter could be one of the most important, because Monaco now have to decide whether Pogba can still become the player they hoped they were signing, and Pogba has to show that he can still give his body the chance to perform at the highest level. The football world will be watching, because everyone remembers the Paul Pogba who dominated midfield for France. Everyone remembers the player who lifted the World Cup in 2018. Everyone remembers the spectacular passes, the powerful runs, the goals, and the personality. But football is not played in the past. What matters now is what Pogba can do today. And that is exactly what makes the situation so fascinating. Can he overcome yet another injury? Can he return before the start of the League One season? Can he finally establish himself at Monaco? Or will this latest setback force the club to rethink his future? We simply don't know yet. But one thing is certain, Paul Pogba needs a major turnaround. He needs his body to cooperate, he needs consistency, and above all, he needs time on the pitch, because talent has never been the question, fitness is. So now all eyes will be on Monaco and on the medical assessment of Pogba's left thigh. The next few days could tell us a lot about what comes next for the former World Cup winner. And if you are following Paul Pogba's comeback, this is definitely a story you will want to keep an eye on. Before you leave, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We bring you the latest football news, transfer stories, major updates, and the biggest developments from the world of football. If you enjoy staying updated without missing the stories everyone is talking about, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments. Do you still believe Paul Pogba can make a strong comeback at Monaco? Or do you think these repeated injuries are becoming too difficult to overcome? I want to hear your opinion, because one thing is certain. Paul Pogba's story is not over yet, but his next chapter could be one of the most important of his entire career.